We're just about to get started here. So, y'all are most welcome to keep your videos off, whatever feels most supportive for your practice. And I will go ahead and get us started. I'm going to take the waiting room off in case folks join us late. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so I have a blanket here. If you ever have tenderness in the knees, you might want a blanket or a towel just to cushion the knees for a little part of our practice today where we'll be on hands and knees. But otherwise, let us begin our practice on our backs. And as you get comfortable in your space, I'll just take a moment to say hello, welcome. I'm Liza, and I work for the Advising Strategy and Training Program and have the absolute pleasure of leading these classes, which are usually sweet and small on Fridays. So I invite you to find whatever position on the back feels most comfortable. You might have the knees pointed up toward the sky or bring feet to touch, knees falling open, or maybe even walking those feet out toward the edges of the mat with the knees falling in. It's really about finding a posture that feels comfortable, supportive, and sweet for your body today. Taking a moment to connect with the body, connect with the breath as we begin today's practice. Taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Letting something go here. Relaxing the brow, softening the jaw, relaxing the shoulders, feeling the points of contact between your body and the mat, the earth, feeling your body fully supported with the mat holding you up in space. Taking a moment to notice the quality of the breath. Taking a moment to notice the quality of the mind, where the mind is today. Noticing the state of the heart, the emotions. Noticing the state of the body. And taking a moment to set your intention for today's practice. Perhaps the intention to find balance between ease and effort in each of your postures today. And if at any time during today's practice you find that your nervous system is revving up or you're feeling physical pain or very, very strong emotions are coming up, please feel free to return to a posture that feels safe in the body. Perhaps this posture, perhaps a child's pose, whatever your nervous system is asking you to do. Please let your body be the guide. And once more, taking a deep breath in and letting it go. Blinking open the eyes if they are not already, and finding a position with both feet flat on the floor, knees pointed up toward the sky, Arms can be long beside you or resting on the body, whatever feels good for you right now. And we'll just begin with some gentle pelvic tilts to awaken that lower spine that can be so sticky. So, beginning to tilt the pelvis forward, tucking the tail, and tilting the pelvis as though you were raising your tail behind you. Perhaps imagining that the pelvis is resting on a clock face. And in that case, we would be alternating between the 12 and 6 o'clock positions here with these pelvic tilts. Just finding some gentle, small movement. And now perhaps taking those pelvic tilts from side to side to the 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions on that clock. These can be very small movements. And the next time you finish the second side, coming back to rest in neutral, and perhaps rolling the pelvis around that clock face in small circles, one way and then the other, only moving within the range of motion that feels sweet for your body today. And finding a neutral position once more. Dropping now the knees to the right side, inhaling through center, and dropping knees to the left side. Inhaling through center, and taking a few rounds of this windshield wiper movement with the low body, continuing to awaken the spine, to warm it up and get it moving. And the next time you come back through center, coming to a neutral spine, bringing both knees to the chest, perhaps rocking back and forth a few times. And stretching that left leg long on the mat, bringing the right knee toward your shoulder, perhaps moving it in a few gentle circles to lubricate the hip joint just a bit. And the other direction, drawing left knee in and extending right leg long, drawing that left knee in toward the shoulder, perhaps taking a few small circles with that left knee to lubricate the hip joint. And drawing both knees in towards the chest once more before dropping both feet to the mat. Feet come hip width apart. Hands and arms press down into the mat as we ground through all four corners of the feet and begin to lift the hips toward the sky, rolling up into bridge, one vertebra at a time. Feeling the power of the glutes and the backs of the legs before rolling back down, one vertebra at a time. Extending legs long on the mat and extending arms long above the head. Taking a nice long stretch here. And then walking both feet over to the left side of the mat, maybe hooking that right heel over the left ankle, and maybe stretching the left side body over to the left side of the mat, really opening up through the right side body here in this banana stretch. And coming back through center, stretching long, and walking those feet over to the ankle, bringing the side body toward the right side of the mat, breathing into that left side body, letting go of some of the stickiness there. And taking one more long stretch before drawing knees into the chest and rolling to your favorite side. Taking a breath here, savoring the transition before pressing up into a comfortable seated position where we will continue warming up the body. So now dropping chin to the chest and just taking a few gentle neck rolls here. And coming back through center, dropping left ear to the left shoulder, maybe walking the right fingertips out on the mat, perhaps taking a few gentle turns of the head. If you find an especially sticky spot, you might breathe into it. And coming back through center, dropping right ear now to right shoulder, perhaps walking those left fingertips out. Maybe taking a few of those gentle circles with the neck, breathing into any especially sticky spots here. And coming back through center, taking a few nice big shoulder rolls. And switching directions. Waking up through the wrists, circling one way and then the other. Perhaps bringing fingers clasped and making a nice figure 8 with those hands, waking up the wrists and then going the opposite direction, finding that balance. And now bringing soles of the feet together. They can be in tight to the hips or creating quite a large diamond here. It's really about what feels good for your body, for your hips today. And you might stay here, or you might slowly begin to, with a long spine, hinge forward at the hips, perhaps walking those fingers forward, breathing into the hips, the back body. And then walking over to the left side, allowing that right hip to remain heavy. And walking hands over to the right side now, letting that hip feel heavy, the left hip on the mat. And coming back through center, finding your way to tabletop on hands and knees. I'm going to go ahead and lay out my blanket to cushion my knees here, and I invite you to do the same or double your mat up if that would feel supportive for your body today. So hands come underneath the shoulders, knees come underneath the hips, toes can be tucked or untucked, whatever feels most supportive for you. And we're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhaling, opening the chest forward, tipping the hips up, looking up. And exhaling, tucking the tail, arching the spine, tucking the chin. Inhaling to cow. exhaling to cat, inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat, and then finding a neutral spine in tabletop, looking now over the right shoulder toward the right hip, opening up through that left side body, coming through center and looking over the left shoulder toward the left hip, finding opening in the right side body. And taking this a few times on each side, looking over the right shoulder, looking over the left shoulder, and once more on each side. Coming back to center, bringing knees as wide as the mat, bringing toes together to touch. And we're going to sit our hips back for child. So you can stay up high if that feels good for you, or drop hips toward the heels, walking those fingertips forward, bringing the forehead toward the mat, breathing deeply into the hips here. And now finding your way back to tabletop. Next, we'll inhale, right arm up and forward, and step those left toes back toward the back of the mat. You might stay here, or inhale the left toes off the mat, reaching through the heel, reaching through the right fingertips, finding length in the spine. And returning to tabletop. Inhaling now, left arm up and fingers forward, stepping right toes to the back of the mat, perhaps staying here, or perhaps inhaling right toes off the mat, reaching through that right heel, through the left fingertips. And returning to tabletop. We'll take that once more on each side with an option if you are interested in taking a variation. So inhaling now, right hand forward, left foot back. You can stay here, or you might bend that left knee and reach up and back for the left toes, looking over the right shoulder for half kneeling floor bow. And releasing this, returning to balancing table and coming back to table. Inhaling now, left arm up, right leg up, perhaps staying here, or bending the right knee, reaching the left arm up and back for those toes, looking over the left shoulder. And returning to balancing table and back to table. And now let's step our right foot between our hands, perhaps helping ourselves forward a bit. Dropping the hips into a low lunge here. Maybe bending and straightening that front knee a few times, just waking the knee up. And then dropping into a low lunge, hips heavy. Breathing into these hips. And on your next exhale, drawing hips back, straightening the front leg, pointing the toes for half split here, breathing deeply into the back of that right leg. And exhaling, finding low lunge once more, dropping those hips heavy, and inhaling, right arm reaches for the sky, looking up toward the thumb if that's comfortable for the neck. If not, looking forward or down. And releasing, bringing right hand back to the mat, stepping right foot back into tabletop. Stepping left foot forward now, we'll take that on the second side. So dropping the hips into a low lunge, maybe bending and straightening that front knee a few times. Waking it up before dropping into our low lunge, noticing the difference from one side to the other. Hips are heavy here. And on the next exhale, setting the hips back, left leg is straight or straight-ish, knee can be bent of course. Toes point toward the sky. Breathing into that back of the left leg here. And exhaling back to low lunge. Planting that right hand on the mat and opening up toward the side, reaching toward the sky with the left fingertips. Finding the position for your neck that feels most comfortable for you. And returning to low lunge. Perhaps tucking the right toes and bringing the right foot to meet the left at the top of the mat in forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lifting, finding length in the spine. And exhaling, forward folding, perhaps grasping opposite elbows and swaying back and forth in ragdoll, finding some traction in the spine here. Releasing the elbows and extending one vertebra at a time. Rolling the shoulders down and back. And I'm going to move my blanket for the next part of our flow. So now we will flow through a couple of sun salutations and a couple of moon salutations to help us balance our energies for the day. So, well, variations on each. So I will talk you through it. We'll go through it one time slow and then a couple times breath to movement. So inhaling, arms up, looking up. Exhaling, forward folding. Knees can be as bent as feels good for your body. Breathing into the back of the legs here. Heels are heavy. Spine grows long. And on the next inhale, rising up halfway, finding length in the spine. Neck is neutral. And exhaling, fingertips come to the mat, stepping the left toes back and dropping the left knee here, untucking the toes, finding that low lunge. Inhaling, arms up to the sky for crescent lunge. Breathing into that hip. Exhaling, Bringing hands to the mat to frame the right foot, tucking the left toes, stepping the right foot back to meet the left in plank, then exhaling, hips to the sky, downward facing dog, heels are heavy, biking those hips up toward the ceiling, shoulders drop away from the ears, neck is relaxed. Inhaling left leg up for three-legged dog. And stepping that left foot between the hands, dropping onto the right knee for low lunge. Hips are heavy here. Inhaling, arms to the sky for crescent pose. Exhaling, hands to the mat, right toes step up to meet the left in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms up, look up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step now the right toes back, dropping to the right knee, finding that low lunge with the left foot forward. Inhaling to crescent moon, arms reach up. Exhale, bring hands to the mat. Tuck the back toes, step left foot back to meet right into plank pose. Drawing hips up to the sky on the exhale for downward facing dog. Shoulders are soft, heels are heavy. Inhaling, lifting right leg up into three-legged dog and stepping that right foot forward between the hands, dropping the left knee to the mat for low lunge. Inhaling, arms up to the sky, crescent. Exhaling, hands come to the mat, framing that right foot. Stepping the left toes forward to meet the right at the top of the mat in forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift. And exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, sweep arms up, look up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Close the eyes for just a moment. Checking in with yourself. Checking in with the mind. Checking in with the heart. Checking in with the body. Connecting with the breath. Opening the eyes. Inhaling, sweeping arms up, looking up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot steps back, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step left foot through, drop to right knee. low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step to the front, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, look up. Upward salute, Urdhva. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, right foot steps back, drop to right knee. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, drop to left knee. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, look up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Close the eyes. Taking a moment here to reconnect with the breath. And we'll flow through that one last time. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step left foot back, drop to left knee, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step left foot forward, drop to right knee, low lunge. Inhale, crescent, arms lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, step front, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up, look up, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step right foot back, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, right foot steps forward, drop to the left knee, low lunge. Inhale, crescent. Exhale, hands to the mat, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, come back to standing. Reach up, look up. And exhale, hands to the heart, close the eyes. Take a moment to check in. Reconnecting with the breath, reconnecting with the body. Amazing. And now we'll move into our moon salutation variation. So I'm going to move to the center of my mat facing the long edge. Y'all are welcome to remain facing the short edge. You might end up with feet on either side though, so just a heads up. So beginning in mountain pose, grounding down through all four corners of the feet, drawing the spine up long, tucking the tail just slightly, Legs are engaged, shoulders down and back. Strong, steady, solid in our mountain pose. Inhaling, arms up. Grasping the left wrist with the right hand and pulling up and over, finding a nice half moon here. Breathing into that left side body. And inhaling up through center, stepping both feet out, toes pointed out, dropping into the legs for goddess pose, goal posting the arms. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up, straightening the legs, taking up space in star pose. Turning the right toes toward the short edge of the mat and turning those left toes in to about a 45-degree angle or maybe a little less. Reaching the right arm forward, left arm back, and beginning to reach forward before tick-tocking the arms, finding support on the shin, the foot, the floor, in triangle pose. Left arm reaches up toward the sky, perhaps looking up toward that thumb if that feels good for the neck. Otherwise, just looking down or forward. Strong through the core, strong legs. And now, bringing the left hand to the inside of the foot, bringing right hand to the outside of the foot, keeping that front leg straight and draping the chest over that front leg. Hips are square to the front of the mat for pyramid pose. Breathing deeply into that hamstring. Knee can be as bent as your body is asking for today. And now pivoting to be on the ball of that left foot, bending into the front knee. Inhaling, sweeping arms up for crescent pose. Spine is long, shoulders are down, away from the ears. Hips are square toward the front of the mat here. And now opening up and dropping into a side lunge on the right side. So your side lunge might be up here, perhaps you're here, perhaps you're here. It's really up to your body today. The important thing is keeping our knees as safe as we can, so not twisting our knees in a different direction from our ankles. Breathing here in this side lunge. And now walking the feet in a little bit, toes point out. You might stay up here. You might join me in a deeper squat here. Really breathing into the hips, finding some opening. And now we'll complete the cycle on the other side. So opening up to side lunge on your left side. You might be up here. You might be hands to the mat. You might be down. Finding your side lunge, what feels good in your body today. Breathing into that inner thigh. And twisting the body to the short end back of your mat, pivoting up on the ball of the right toe, bending into the front knee, sweeping arms up for crescent pose. Breathing into those hips. And now straightening the left leg, dropping that right heel to the mat, turning to square the hips toward the back of the mat this time, toward your left toes, and with a flat back, bending over, draping over the thigh, finding your pyramid pose. Breathing deeply into the left hamstring, opening up through the back of that left leg. Knee can remain as bent as it needs to be here, taking care of yourself, your body today. And now, left hand comes to the inside of the foot or perhaps to your shin, and right arm reaches up, right fingers reach up for triangle pose on this side. Core is active, legs are strong. And coming up through star, toes point out, arms reach up and out, taking up space here before sinking into goddess pose. And coming back into our mountain pose, taking half moon on the second side, grasping right wrist now with left hand and reaching over to the left, opening through the right side body. And inhaling, arms to the sky, exhaling, allowing the arms to drop to your sides, mountain pose. And now we'll cycle through that flow the other direction. So, inhaling, arms up to the sky, grasping right wrist with left hand, drawing the hand up and over, finding half moon on the left side. Inhaling, arms to the sky, exhaling, stepping feet wide, toes point out, dropping into goddess pose with goalpost arms, opening up through the heart here. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up, straightening the legs, star pose, taking up space. Turning to point the left toes toward the back of the mat, right toes turn into about a 45-degree angle. Left fingertips reach back, forward, right fingertips reach back, reaching forward and then tick-tocking the arms, finding your pyramid pose here. Your triangle pose here. And now bringing right hand to the mat, framing the foot, turning hips to square toward the front of the mat here, draping the chest over the thigh, keeping that left knee as bent as it needs to be for you right now in your pyramid pose. Pivoting onto the ball of the right foot, bending into the left knee, sweeping arms up for crescent, and exhaling, spinning that right heel down, finding your side lunge variation. Stepping feet in, finding your squat variation, and stepping out, finding your side lunge on the second side. Pivoting on the ball of the foot, toes point toward the front of the mat now, front knee is bent, sweeping arms up for crescent. Pivoting the left heel to the mat, squaring hips toward the front, and draping the chest over that right pyramid pose here, bringing right hand to the inside of the foot or perhaps to the shin, and reaching up, opening through the chest in triangle pose on the second side. And opening all the way up to star before dropping into goddess pose once more. Stepping feet together, arms reach up, grasping left wrist with right hand, reaching up and over for half moon. Inhaling up through center, letting arms drop to the side, closing the eyes, taking a moment to check in with the self. Inhaling arms up, grasping left wrist, right hand, up and over, half moon. Coming through center, stepping out, dropping into goddess, goal post arms. Inhaling through star, exhaling through triangle. Moving through pyramid and inhaling into crescent. Exhaling to side lunge and finding your squat. Moving into side lunge on the second side before inhaling into crescent. Exhaling into pyramid. Inhaling, finding triangle. Coming up through star before dropping down into goddess. Inhaling, arms up, feet step together, half moon on the left side. Coming through center and finding mountain pose once more. Inhaling, arms up, grasping right wrist with left hand, half moon, left side. Stepping feet open, dropping into goddess, goal post arms. Inhaling up through star and exhaling into your triangle. Moving now into pyramid, draping chest over the thigh before pivoting and inhaling into crescent. Exhaling, moving into side lunge and finding your squat here. Taking side lunge on the second side before pivoting, inhaling into crescent. Spinning the heel down, finding your way into pyramid. And inhaling into triangle. Opening all the way up into star. Exhaling to goddess. Feet come up. Grasp left wrist, right hand, up and over. Half moon. And come up through center. Dropping arms to the sides. Finding your way back to the front of your mat. Beginning to roll down one vertebra at a time into a forward fold, grasping opposite elbows, perhaps swaying back and forth for a moment. Planting hands on the mat, stepping back into table. And then lowering onto the belly. Tops of the feet press into the floor, into the mat. Hands come underneath the shoulders. And on the next inhale, raising the chest off the floor, cobra, strong back body. And exhaling, release. Inhale, rise up to cobra once more. Maybe float the hands. And exhale, release. Forehead to the mat. Bringing arms along the sides, or perhaps grasping hands behind the back. Legs reach long, perhaps hip distance, and we inhale. Head, chest, feet, arms off the floor. Locust pose, strong back. And release the locust. Pressing up through table. Bringing those knees wide, sitting hips back into child's pose. Breathing into the hips here. And finding your way back to table. Let's step that right foot forward one last time. Dropping into our low lunge here. Opening the hips up. And then walking that right foot out to the edge of the mat, allowing the right knee to drop open. Right foot stays active to protect that knee. If you'd like, you can drop down to your forearms or a block or bolster, whatever feels good for your body. Finding your expression of lizard pose today. Breathing into the hips. And pressing back up if you're not already there. Finding your way back to table. Stepping the left foot forward. Dropping into those hips. Allowing them to open. Feeling the difference between the sides. Walking now the left foot out to the outside of the mat. Dropping left knee open if that feels good. Perhaps staying here or maybe dropping onto forearms. And finding our way through table, back into one more child's pose. Last one of the practice. Last posture before we move on to our backs. And now, let's press up and find our way onto our backs. However, that works for you. Drawing knees into the chest, rocking side to side a bit if that feels good for your body. Stretching left leg long, bringing right knee into the chest, and then bringing that right knee across the body, reaching long with the right arm, looking over that right shoulder for a nice twist here. And coming back to center, Drawing both knees into the chest, reaching the right leg long now, hugging that left knee into the shoulder, and then drawing that left knee across the body. Left arm extends, looking over the left shoulder. And coming back through center, drawing both knees into the chest, dropping both feet to the mat, hip width apart. Hands, arms press into the mat, and we roll hips up to the ceiling, to the sky, one vertebra at a time, feeling the strength of our back body, hamstrings, glutes, back, before rolling down one vertebra at a time. Bringing now right ankle to the left knee and drawing that entire shape into your body, grasping behind the thigh or around the shin, breathing deeply into this right hip. And dropping left foot to the mat, switching that out, bringing left ankle to the right knee, dropping that left knee open and drawing the whole shape into your body, breathing into that left hip. And dropping right foot to the mat, left foot to the mat, drawing knees into the chest, curling up into a little ball before extending all the way out onto the mat for final rest, Shavasana. Legs are long, feet fall open, arms can be spread on the mat next to the body, perhaps hands touching the body if that feels comforting for you. Checking in with the head, checking in with the heart, checking in with the body, connecting with the breath, feeling the points of contact between your body and the mat, the earth. Perhaps imagining that the mat is holding you up in space. Melting into the mat with each exhale, allowing the yoga to melt into you, integrating your practice into the nervous system. Watching the breath, the body breathing itself, the magic of this body. Taking a deep breath in, letting it go, letting something go. Waking up through the fingers, the toes, the wrists, the ankles, taking a nice long stretch before rolling to your favorite side. Taking a breath here, savoring the transition, this liminal space. When you're ready, pressing up to seated. Taking a moment to Breathe here in this seat, in this moment, in this space, offering a prayer of gratitude to your body for carrying through your beautiful practice, a prayer of gratitude to the breath for always being here to support you, a prayer of gratitude to yourself for carving out this time for your own well-being. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Happy Pride Month. Take care, and I hope to see you next month. Namaste. Thank you for coming, Kelly.